One second. Just make sure everything is copacetic. Let's see. Let's make sure. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Hold on. Let's see if we're live. Yes, sir. All right. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. We are indeed live. Yes, sir. All right. There we go. Right there. All right. Let's make sure we are live on the X. Are we live on the XX peeps? Are we live on the X? Let's see if we're live on the X. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Let's see if we're live. Twitch peeps, are we live? Are we live? Yes, sir. We are live. Yes, sir. We are live. We are alive. Let me check the pulse real quick. Yep, we're live. All right. All right. Let's go. Ooh. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just get all these announcements right here. Let me get these announcements right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Make sure everything is set and meant to be. All right. CETX. All right, 2023. I will take a look at that. One second. Yes, sir. All right. Let me just get everything all set up and ready to go. And we'll be ready to go. We'll be ready to chill. Yes, sir. All right. Ooh, Franca, ELAB. Okay, yeah. I'll get all that ready to go. Yes. All right. Let me get everything set. There we go. Everything shared on the YouTubes. There we are. All right. Get that there. Share everything up over on X. Let's see. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Yes, sir. All right. Okay. Let's see. All good. Yes. Let me get that there. All right. Let me share it up on the x.com. There we go. Beautiful. All right. All right, there we go. Good. All right, so. All right, we got everything shared. Let's get this intro started. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house, a.k.a. the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she likes to get shot at the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to party and go to RBs. And sometimes she likes to go to Wendy's as well and watch videos of puppies and kitties. Other times she likes to steal my lo mein. And other times she calls out the wonderful stonks like CETX TGL BDRX and TWG. We call her DBL Moms. Hey, and that's what we got going on, folks. That's what we got going on. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on our X.com, aka Twitter, at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on our Twitch at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. And you can find us on our TikTok, Tiki Taki, aka the Tac Tac. The Tac Tac. Yes, the Tac Tac. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBLNICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. You could also find us on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook, all of which are at Coach Nick Money. Yes, sir. All right, so that's what we got going on right there, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. So, yeah, that's what we got going on right there. Okay. Okie dokie. There we go. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well and hanging in. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I know I did, man. I had a very good weekend. Spent time with the family, spent time with friends. It was a good time all around. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right, so let's get started here. We called quite a few stonks today. So be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. So, yeah. That's what we got going on. All right. And Jose, thank you for reposting the stream, brother. Thank you for reposting the stream. So, let's begin. We called quite a few stonks this morning. Once we get through those stonks, then and only then I will get into the requests that we got. So we did call earlier this morning. CETX called it this morning on our private Discord prior to it running up $558%. Market's been heating up this morning. I tell you what. Called it this morning on our private Discord prior to it running up 558%. So we got that going on right there. We called another stonk as well. We called TGL. This one we called as well in our private Discord. And that ran up a nice 133%. And then after that, we called another one as well. We called BDRX. Called that one in the private Discord. And that one ran up a nice 183%. All right. We got that going on right there. Hold on one second. Let me get this over here. All right. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. There we go. There we are. There we go. There we are. All right. There we go. All right. We called TWG as well. We called TWG. TWG ran. Called that one as well in our private Discord. prior to it running up. A nice, let's see, which one was it? Yeah, 142%. 142%. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's so hard keeping track of all these baggers, man. So hard keeping track of all these baggers. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Right there, right there, right there. All right. All right. Then we called PAVS. PAVS. All right. Called that one in our private Discord prior to it running up a nice 129%. All right. There we go. And MTVA. Called that one in the private Discord prior to it running up a nice 94%, ladies and gentlemen. 94%. So, yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, that's what we got going on right there. So, let's take a look at some wonderful little stonks over here. Let's take a look at these wonderful little stonks. Hold on. All right. So, let's take a look at it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, CETX. This was requested by 2023, and it is also our top bagger. Ladies and gentlemen. CETX ran up a nice 558%, ladies and gentlemen. 558%. Ran up very nicely. Had a little bit of an A, B, C, D right over here. A little bit of an A to B, B to C, C to D right there. And then had a bit of a pennant that formed right around this area, right over here. All right. Had a bit of a pennant right there. Climbed its way on up just a little bit. All right. And then afterwards, pretty much just went solo over there, kind of just started consolidating along the VWAP, and then climbed up and shot up immediately. Just shot up like crazy. Boom, right there. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's just doing its thing right there. It's just doing its thing. Comes up with a nice little pennant. Bop, bop, right there. And yeah, there it goes. So right now, currently, it has to break above the VWAP and has to break above that pennant right now for it to be somewhat schmexy to me, but it did have a nice 558% run. Was a bit overbought in the RSI, so it had that going on right there. Let's see if it had any news. Did it have any news? CETX. Let's see. Ooh, there it is. Semtrex last month announced it entered into a share purchase agreement to acquire Invocon. So that is why it is currently moving up today. That news came in, and last month they apparently had some acquisitions going on. So, yeah, that's why they currently had that nice little run over there, up 558%. Now currently up 228%, but it did have that nice run earlier in the day. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on with CETX. So that is what we got going on. Let's put that in there. CETX needs to break the VWAPA and the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Let's take a look at some other stonks over here. We got some more requests over here. 2023 said PAVS volume. All right, let's take a look at PAVS. PAVS as of now has a 67 million float, which is a little bit heavy, but it does have the volume to counteract that. 9 million volume. So it's got that going on. A little bit sporadic over here in terms of the candle, but it is moving its way on up. Did drop quite a bit below the little VWAPA, all right, but it did have this going on over here. Let's take a look. Bop right here, A to B, B to C, C to D, and then had another one right over here. Bop right there, and then ended up making another one right over there. That was a bit tighter than the other two. So you got that going on. It is trying to fight its way above the VWAP right now. As of now, PAVS did have a nice run up 129%. So it did have that volume. It still has that volume. 67 million float, 509 million volume. So we got that going on right there. Was a bit overbought on the RSI. So it is trying to kind of compensate for that and fell below the RSI. So now it fell below being overbought on the RSI. So now it's just doing its thing right now. Now it's just doing its thing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's take a look and see if it has any news. Does it have any news? Any news? No, no, no. Wait. Oh, okay. Hold on. Same thing here. PAVS gained 87.4 to. Okay, this was a while ago that this came out. Their shares jumped on Friday after the company reported a year-over-year increase in H1 preliminary revenue results. So that's what they're saying happened. I mean, it happened a while ago, but okay, I could understand how something could jump from that. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on right there. PAVS did have a nice H1 result. Right now it's curling above the VWAPA, on the ABCD. It's remaining friends with the trend right now. PAVS remaining friends with the ABCD trend. All right. Broke above the VWAPA. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 400. Let's get to 400 people, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 400, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Yes, sir. All right. And let's take a look at the next stock that was requested of us. DFLI news. Okay, I'll take a look at that. DFLI requested by 2023. Let's get it over here. All right, DFLI. Okay, very choppy on this stock. This stock is very, very choppy. Has a bit of barcoding going on, but a lot of indecisive wicks as well. So that is a clear sign that it is very low on volume right now, as of now. So we got that going on right there. Let's take a look at the float and volume. Let's take a look at the float. The float is a bit heavy, 118 million. Volume is 729,000. So the float is a bit high on this one. Volume is very low. Not a good look on that thing. Let's take a look at some news. Let's see if it's got any news. All right, Dragonfly Energy expands their marine OEM footprint with the world's largest power catamaran manufacturer, World Cat. All right. And their Battleborn batteries were chosen for New World Cat 400 DCX Island model. And yeah, they're expanding their marine OEM footprint with WorldCat. So that's what they're doing right there, folks. That is what they got for news. So they do have news going on right there. That's a good thing, but it needs a lot of volume for it to be so much mexi to mya. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Needs a lot of volume, a lot of indecisive wicks here. So DFLI does have news, but it needs volume. It does need volume there. So I will say that, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, DFLI needs volume and needs volume. Very choppy and showing signs of barcoding. Let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. DFLI. I hope it gains more volume, but that float is very, very high. So it's gonna need a lot of volume for it to really become so much mexi to mya. All right, let's get. But I will give it a support and resistance line, though. I will give it support and resistance right over here. Bop right there. All right. Boom. All right. So it's got support at the 78-cent mark over here. It needs to break through 79 cents and then 80 cents for it to be so much maxi to mya. But right now, it's not looking too good right now. Not looking too good. Up 4%. So we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens with DFLI. DFLI. All right. Let's see what else there is. Thumbs up video. Thanks. Oh, thank you, 2023. All right. Franca Villa says ELAB hot stock, $6.50 high a day. All right, let's take a look at ELAB. ELAB. All right, so ELAB currently right now below the VWAP, but it did have some nice movement, though. It did have some nice movement, even shot up to like 772 over here. But as of now, it is currently below the VWAP right now. It's below the VWAP. It's up 8%, up 8%. Has unconfirmed Q3 earnings coming out in 11 days from now on December 19th before the market opens. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at the news. Let's see if the stock has any news. ELAB, no news right now. Let's take a look at the float. Float is 743,000. Volume is 2.436 million. So it's got 2.44 million in terms of volume right now. But as of now, it needs a lot more volume for it to break through this VWAP right here. It is forming a bit of a pennant right now, a little bit of a pennant. Looks like it's trying to test that VWAP right there. It's trying to test it, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see what happens there. Boom and boom right there. So has to break through this pennant, has to break above that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Right now is forming a bit of a top tail. We don't like the top tails, ladies and gentlemen. We like the bottom tail. So we're going to see that going on right there. Not overbought or oversold in the RSI, so that's a good thing right there. But it does need to break above this pennant and stay above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. So ELAB needs to stay above. Actually, I'll write it's testing the pennant right now. It is testing the pennant, testing the VWAP, and needs to break the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. There we go. There we go. Boom. Right there. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on for ELAB. Let's take a look at another stock, CETX. CETX, how's it doing right there? Let's take a look. All right, so CETX did curl up a little bit, did try to test that VWAP just a little bit, then went back down. Now it needs to kind of break through this little descending wedge right over bop right there, and bop right there. So has to break through the descending wedge and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to CETX needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Boom, right there, ladies and gentlemen. FULC. Let's see what we got going on there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got going on there. All right, shot up nicely, ladies and gentlemen. Shot up very nicely. All right, so on the uptrend right now, FULC currently on an uptrend here, up 81%, up 81%. So FULC, let's take a look at the float. Float is 37 million. Volume is 4 million. So FULC moving up on some low volume right there. Moving up on low volume. Looking good, though. Looking good. Up 83%. Up 83%. So we got that going on right there. It's moving up on low volume. Up 83%. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So FULC currently climbing its way on up 81%, 81%. So we'll see what happens, ladies and gents. We shall see what happens. We shall see what happens. All right. All right. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, currently FULC, though, is curling its way back down. Not looking too schmexy there. Not looking too schmexy right there. We'll see what happens, though. We shall see what happens. All right. All right. Yeah, needs to break above that descending wedge right there. Needs to break above that descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. All right. So let's take a look at FULC. FULC needs to break the descending wedge, because it was a bit overbought in the RSI. So we got that going on, but it looks like it's falling below that. So not looking too schmexy right now. Looks like it's dropping right there. Not liking that too much. So we're gonna move on. We move on, ladies and gentlemen. We move forward. PAVS had that nice movement on that ABCD pattern. Did move up nicely, but now fell back below the VWAP and needs to break above this pennant right here. So PAVS needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. All right. So there we are. Okay, there we go. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on with this stunk right here. That's what we got going on. Let's take a look at BDRX. BDRX. There we go. All right. So BDRX currently below the VWAP. Needs volume to break through it. Currently consolidated below the VWAP, so needs to break above this little downtrend that it's got going on right here. This little downtrend bop needs to break above that downtrend and needs to break above that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. BDRX needs to break above the descending. Actually, no, just downtrend right now. Downtrend. And the VWAPA, for it to be schmexy to me, needs some volume, ladies and gentlemen. BDRX up 55%. Let's take a look at another stock. MTVA. Let's take a look at MTVA, up 34% currently, but very, very choppy. Very choppy and below the VWAP, ladies and gentlemen. Not looking too schmexy to me. Not looking too schmexy to me. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 700. Let's get to 700, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hold on. Let me get some water as well. Let me get that. Ooh. All right. That's the stuff. All right. MTVA needs to break above the VWAPA. Also needs volume to remain somewhat schmexy to me. All right. Otherwise, just man. You know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it goes. All right. Let's take a look. All right. Hold on. Let's see. All right, let's see here. Let's see. JFBR. Somebody requested JFBR. Let me take a look at this. Let me take a look at JFBR, see how it's doing, ladies and gentlemen. JFBR. All right. Not looking schmexy to me. Matter of fact, it's showing a bit of a shoulder, right? A little bit of a head right here, and then a little bit of a shoulder right here, and then it drops downward right over Mya. All right, not looking too schmexy right there. Tries to curl its way back up just a little bit right there, and then makes a little bit of a pennant. But here's the thing, it's still below the VWAP right now, so it needs to break above that pennant, needs to break above that VWAP for it to be so much schmexy to me. And needs to also break that head and shoulders. So it's got a ways to go. JFBR needs to break that pennant, VWAP, and head and shoulders. Because those are all not looking too good, ladies and gentlemen. Not looking too good right there for JFBR. Not looking too schmexy for it. Let's take a look at CETX again. How CETX called this one earlier in the day. It ran up a nice, beautiful 558%, ladies and gentlemen. 558%. So right now it's trying to slightly curl a little bit. Teeny tiny bit of a curl right there. Needs to break above the VWAP, though, for it to be so much schmexy to me. CETX needs to break above the VWAPA for it to be so much schmexy to me, because right now it is currently on the descending wedge. Not feeling that one, ladies and gentlemen. Not feeling that one. Let's take a look at TWG. All right, TWG also on a bit of a downtrend there. On a bit of a downtrend right there for this one. It did have a nice run up earlier on up to 142%. Did have a nice run earlier at 142%. Right now, currently 66%. Needs to break the downtrend and needs to break the VWAPA for it to be so much schmexy to me. So TWG needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA for it to be so much schmexy to me. There we go. All right. MTVA, see how that one's doing right now. Yep, still choppy, MTVA, still choppy. All right, let's get that going on right there. Let's take a look and see what else we got over here. What else we got? All right. Hold on. Let's take a look into another stunk over here. Somebody requested TWG. All right, I already looked at TWG. SES. Somebody requested SES. All right. SES. Let's see how SES is doing. SES is above the VWAP, but very choppy. Oh, my. Yeah, no, this is not looking good at all. There is a lot of indecisive wicks over here. A lot of indecisiveness, a lot of choppiness. Not looking good. Not looking schmexy on SES. So I'm going to just say that right now. SES, very low volume. SES, very low volume, needs volume to stay above the VWAPA. Plus, the price action is so sporadic. Not looking good on the stonk. Not looking good on the stonk right here. SES, not looking schmexy. FULC, let's take a look at FULC. Let's take a look at FULC. All right, FULC currently kind of consolidated just a little bit right there. Let me get it over here. Boom and boom right here. So FULC needs to break this pennant for it to be so much schmexy to me. Let's get that going on right there. FULC needs to break this pennant right there for it to be so much schmexy to me. There we go. Oop, let me get my watch right there. Hold on one second. Boop, there you go. Behave yourself there, little boy. Ha ha. All right, let's get it. FULC needs to break this pennant right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. TWG. All right. There we go. Needs to climb its way back up. Looks like it's trying to break above the downtrend and climb its way back up. So looks like that's what we got going on, folks. That's what we got going on. So TWG curling upward was close to being oversold, by the way. Curling upwards needs to break that VWAPA for it to be so much schmexy to me. There we go. All right, let's see here. Boom. All right. There we go. Ooh, okay. So, TWG needs to break above that VWAP for it to be so much schmexy to me. Let's take a look at FULC. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at CETX once more. Let's take a look and see how... No, not CETX. CETX. All right, there we go. CETX needs to break above the VWAP still. CETX needs more power, Captain. Captain, it needs more power. Yes, it needs more power. CETX needs more volume to break that VWAP. Yes, break it. Good. Come to the dark side of the Force. All right, that was. Come on. Okay, that was Palpatine. That was a little bit of Palpatine right there. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1100. Let's get to 1100. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, folks, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, let's get that going on right there. Let's get a share party going to 1200. 1200. Let's get it to 1200, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Come on now. Come on. All right. We're just chilling right now. We are just chilling. Somebody, let's see what we got here. KYMR. All right. KYMR, very choppy, low volume, heavy float. Float is 58 million. Volume is 291,000. Not looking too schmexy to me right now. Is on a bit of an uptrend, but a very choppy one right there. So, not looking too good there. Up 35%. Has news that Chimera Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company reported its broadened phase 1B trial of KT-621 and achieved deep STAT6 degradation across dose groups. So they got that going on right there, folks. That is what they got going on. KYMR has achieved deep STAT6 degradation across dose groups. So it's, yeah, that's what they got going on, folks. That is what they got going on. So KYMR, very low float, actually very heavy float, low volume. KYMR, choppy uptrend on low volume. Does have some news, though. I will say that. Has some news, though. So hopefully it gets better there. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 1300. 1300, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1300. All right, all right, all right. Let's see what we got going on. How about we take a look at ASST, crowd favorite, ladies and gentlemen. Crowd favorite right there. Okay, ASST still choppy, still barcodey, not looking schmexy to me. You know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. So ASST, ASST. All right. All right, all right, all right. ASST. All right. Let's see here. ASST consolidated below the VWAP needs volume for it to be so much maxi to me. All right. Anthony says, why is CETX so high? Is it still a buy if it's $10 at the market open? Well, I can't exactly tell you when to buy or sell, so I can't exactly do that. But I can take a look at CETX because it did have a nice move up. It did have a nice move up 558% CETX. But right now it just went back down because, sometimes, what goes up must eventually go back down. But it did have a nice run earlier in the day, 558% right now, 558%. That was the high of day. As of now, though, it has gone down since then. Currently, now it is at the $10.07 mark over here. And me personally, I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have as much volume as it did before. It was doing all right. But you know what? It's one of those stonks where, it needs volume, really. It needs more volume now because it did have the volume earlier. It ran up. It did its thing. That was it. That's the whole show. In my opinion, you know what I mean? Because these stocks, they'll run up, right? And eventually, after they run up very high, they'll be overbought. You know what I mean? So once they're overbought, then after that, eventually, it's going to go back down a little bit. That kind of happens, The stock market goes up, down. That's the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way it is. GPCR. Let's take a look at GPCR over here. GPCR, expansive, $48, up 40%. Let's take a look at the news on it. Structure Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company announced top-line data from the Access clinical program of aleniglipron for the treatment of people living with obesity and or overweight with at least one weight-related comorbidity. All right, so they have some news that they basically got data from the Access clinical program of aleniglipron for the treatment of these people who are living with obesity or they're overweight with at least one weight-related comorbidity. So I'm guessing what they mean by that is like something like diabetes or something like that. I guess maybe that's what they mean by that. I don't entirely know, but it is moving its way on up right now, so I will give it that right there. GPCR is moving up, but it does have a low volume and a heavy float. Float is very heavy at 43 million. Volume is 1 million, and of course it is expensive. Expensive and heavy float right there. So GPCR moved up on low volume. Expensive because it is $48, ladies and gentlemen. $48 for a stonk like this is a little bit pricey, so we'll see what goes on there. But let's take a look at KYMR. KYMR, still low float, still heavy float, and very low volume. Not looking too schmexy right now. KYMR still needs more volume. Still needs more volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So that's what we got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1600. 1600, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1600. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. QH. Somebody, let's take a look at QH. Let's see what we got going on for QH. All right. So, yeah, pumped and it dumped right there. Up 28% right now, but it pumped on low volume, by the way. Pumped up and then dumped. All right. QH also has a 560,000 float, which is a very low float. Volume is 475,000, so not looking too schmexy. Not looking schmexy at all for this stock right here. QH very choppy. QH sporadic and low float and volume. Not schmexy, not schmexy. All right. Alex says, did you look at WVE yet? We have not. WVE. Let's take a look at WVE. WVE currently on its way up right now. On its way up. Bop right here. All right. Has a bit of a pennant right here going on. All right. So we got that going on right there. WVE up 75%. 75%. WVE shares are trading higher after the company reported positive interim phase 1 data showing its obesity drug WVE-007 delivered GLP-1 like fat loss at 3 months without muscle loss and was generally safe and well tolerated. So that's very good news. That means that they are basically dealing with an obesity drug that can, I'm guessing, allows people to lose fat, and it does this without muscle loss, and yeah, it apparently was generally safe, very well received. So that's good news. That's good news for WVE. So hopefully it continues to go on up right now. Has to break above this pennant though for it to be so much messy to me. 9 EMA is a bit averted from the VWAP over here. It is a little bit farther away from the VWAP, but it's currently moving up and up and up. But the VWAP is all the way down here. So the VWAP kind of needs to climb and converge with it a little bit. The WVE is currently above the VWAP though, and needs to break above the pennant for it to be so much mexy to me. WVE needs to break above that pennant right there. WVE needs to break above the pennant for it to be so much mexy to me. There we go. Bop right there. All right. Let's get a share party going on, by the way. Let's get to 1700. Let's get to 1700 right there. But WVE currently is going back down. So, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. Let's take a look at another stonk here. What do we got? TGL. Somebody requested TGL. Let's see how TGL is doing. TGL, very choppy and on a downtrend right there. Very choppy and on a downtrend. TGL. Choppy and on a downtrend right now. There we go. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, we got just 28 minutes till the bell. The bell. There we go. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's take a look at... Ooh. Somebody requested MSTR. MSTR, that's a very expensive stock, MSTR, from what I hear. Yep, very expensive. Oof, 182%. 182%, looking terrible. All right, so MSTR, very expensive and very choppy with some very low volume. MSTR, very low volume, choppy. All right. Needs to break the VWAPA. Needs to break the VWAPA for it to be so much mexy to me. All right. So, MSTR, not looking good. Looks like trash. Up 1%. Not looking good. So, let's see about another stunk right here. Let's see right here. TWG currently still needs to do its thing right here. Still kind of consolidated beneath the VWAPA. We called it earlier in the morning. Right there. TWG called it much earlier in the morning prior to a 142% run. TWG was called at... Ooh, it's still going all the way back. Hold on. Ooh, come on, one second. Oh, still going. All right. TWG was called all the way back on the 5th. We called it on the 5th. Then we also called it earlier this morning at 3:04 a.m. And then it ran up a nice 142%. So it was called on the 5th. which I believe was Friday. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it ran up a nice 142%. So we called it on the 5th. And then we also called it this morning at 3:04 a.m. And it ran up a nice 142% and then kind of went back down afterwards, but did have that nice run. Did have that nice run, ladies and gentlemen. It did have that nice run right there. So, we called it earlier than pretty much anybody. But, yeah, that's what we got going on there for TWG. TWG called it on December 5th, 2025. And then called it at 3:04 a.m. on our private Discord prior to its 142% run right there. 142% run. Just made different, ladies and gentlemen. Just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's take a look at BYND. BYND, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1900. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below as well as the pinned comments section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. BYND, very choppy, still barcoded right here. Right, has some barcoding right here, right over bop right there, and right there, bop right there. All right, and then after that has some more barcoding right over meow, and right over meow, and then some more barcoding all the way down over here, bop and bop. So not looking too schmexy. BYND very choppy. BYND very choppy. Needs volume to break the barcoding. So it needs to break through that barcoding. I'll tell you what, because it is very choppy. BYND. Let's take a look at Open, another crowd favorite. Open. Let's take a look. Open, currently very, very choppy. Still had a bit of a channel right over here. A lot of consolidation right over meow bop right there. So had that going on right there. Not looking too schmexy. Not looking too schmexy right now. Open, very low volume on the stonk right here. Very low volume. All right. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. All right. So, Open needs to break through the VWAPA. Actually, that doesn't. Yeah, it needs to break through the VWAP. And needs to break the consolidation with low volume. All right, needs to break that with low volume, with volume right there, because it is low on volume right now, very low on volume. So that's what it needs to do right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2,000, ladies and gentlemen, 2,000. And Ghost Squin, thank you for the subscription. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that subscription. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's get it going on right here. All right. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So, as of now, Open is up 1%. 1%. Not looking too schmexy as of now. But you know, it was a crowd favorite. It was a crowd favorite. So, bring it up there. We bring it up there, right there. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, how was your weekend, man? I didn't get to ask you guys. How was your weekend, man? It was a little rainy over here, man. So you know what? Me personally, I just chilled. I chilled out with my family. Got to chill out with my friends. Got to spend time with everybody. Got to spend time with all the loved ones. You know what I mean? Got to read a nice book too and play some video games because it was rainy. So there wasn't much to do in terms of rain. I'm not going to go out in the rain. Sometimes people like to go out and dance in the rain and stuff like that, or stomp around in the rain, stomp the puddles. I'm like, why do you want to get yourself all soaking wet? You could just go to take a shower or something. But some people like doing that. Me personally, not something I do. Not something I do personally. But I just like to chill. I like to listen to the rain hit the window, and I'm just reading a book. That's what I did. I've been reading the I've been reading Warhammer. I've been reading a lot of the Warhammer books. They're amazing, amazing books, wonderful stories. Crazy stuff goes on in those books. But yeah, WKHS coming around. Hold on, WKHS. Let's take a look at WKHS. All right, WKHS currently up 47%. 47%. Had a bit of a move up over here and then kind of just started making a bit of a pennant right over here. WKHS needs to break above the pennant for it to be so much schmexy to me. Needs to break above the pennant for it to be so much schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the share party going on. Let's get to 2,200. Let's get to 2,200 viewers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 2,200. All right, all right, all right. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So, yeah, that's what you got going on right there, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. So, as of now, we are just chilling right here, doing our thing. You know how it is. You know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it is. WKHS doing its thing, needs to break above that VY, that little pennant right there. Looks like it's trying to climb its way on up right there. WKHS has a 24 million float, 153,000 volume, so the volume is a bit low, but it's trying to climb its way on up on some low volume right here, and now it's kind of curling its way on down. Needs to break above this pennant for it to be so much mexy to me. Otherwise, it's but it looks like it's trying to. It looks like it's trying to right now. But it has a bit of a double top. Has a bit of a double top right over Mia. Needs to break that double top, ladies and gentlemen. Needs to break that double top for it to be so much maxi to Mia. Otherwise, it's just Yeah, how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it goes. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. There we go. All right, so as of now, with this stunk, not looking too good right there. Not looking too schmexy. Not looking too schmexy right now. So right now we're just chilling, keeping an eye on the stonks right now. That's what we're doing here. That is what we are doing. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just chilling right now, chilling like a villain, doing our thing. So yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Let's get a share party going to 2,200. 2,200, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get 2,200. All right. As of now, currently, WKHS not looking too schmexy right now. Not looking too schmexy. And we are just 15 minutes away from the morning bell, ladies and gentlemen. The morning bell. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get that share party going on. Let's get that share party going on. No Mercy says, what's PAVS doing? All right, let's take a look at PAVS, see how it's doing. PAVS. So, as of now, PAVS has since gone over to here in terms of movement. It has made a bit of a pennant, then curled up off that pennant right over here. Bop, right there, right? then made a bit of a double top around this point in time right over here. It's all still below the VWAP, so it has to break above that still, right? But then it kind of goes over here, makes a bit of a pennant right over here, then tries to climb its way back up a little bit over here, and then once again makes another little descending wedge right over here. Makes a tiny one though. So as of now, PAVS has to break that tiny little descending wedge right there. Has to break above this VWAP right over here at 6 cents for it to be somewhat schmexy to me, but that's what it's got going on. So PAVS needs to break the VWAPA and the descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to me, but that's what we got going on for PAVS. Not overbought or oversold in the RSI, so it's got that going on, but it does have to break above that VWAP at 6 cents right there. So it's got that going on right there. That is what it's got going on right there. Let's get some support and resistance lines for it right here. Let's get it right here. Bop right here. And then climbing on up. Bop right there. All right, so we got that going on right here. So it's at 6 cents currently right now. Needs to break above the 6 cent mark. Needs to break above the VWAP over here. And then needs to just break through the 7 cent mark right here. All right, that's what it needs to do right there. Let's take a look at IBIO. Let's take a look at IBIO. Currently with IBIO, it is moving and grooving on upward right now. Has a 22 million float. Volume is 5 million right now, so we got that going on right there. Has to break above this pennant right here, which it did. It did break above this pennant and curled its way on upward beautifully. Climbed on up over here. Bop right there. All right, and now needs to break above this pennant right over Mya for it to be so much messy to Mya. So IBIO, as of now needs to break the pennant, IBIO needs to break the pennant right there for it to be so much messy to me. Needs to break above the pennant, ladies and gentlemen, above it. It is a bit overbought on the RSI, a little bit overbought on the RSI, and again, it has a heavy float, light volume, so it's one of those stocks that it really needs to remain friends with the trend. Otherwise, it's going to be you know how that gets, ladies and gentlemen. You know how that gets. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2400. Let's get to 2400, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 2400. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer and closer to the morning bell. The morning bell, ladies and gentlemen. The bell. All right, so right now, that is what we're doing here. We are just chilling like villains, waiting for the bell. You know what I mean? IBIO, as of now, currently doing its thing. Right now. Has to break above that pennant, though, for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Otherwise, it's just, not interesting. You know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it goes. Now it's trying to climb its way back up. We'll see what happens here, ladies and gents. We shall see what happens here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. All right. So, yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. So, we are just chilling right now, keeping an eye on this thing. On IBIO. Not looking too schmexy, truthfully. So, I'm probably going to move on to something else here. Let's take a look at another stock here. Let's take a look at PAVS. PAVS currently trying to curl its way on up right now. Broke through the 6 cent mark, through the first 6 cent mark over here. Bop right there, climbing its way on up slowly but surely. So we got that going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got going on. So we're just chilling right now, watching this stock right here. Currently curling its way on up, trying to get past the next 6 cent mark, as well as the VWAP. Broke above the VWAP just now. PAVS up 77% and climbing. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, on the uptrend right now. Climbing its way on up. PAVS. Let's see what it does, ladies and gentlemen. Climbed up, shot up like a rocket. PAVS currently shot up like a rocket just now. All right. PAVS moving. Shot up like a rocket. All right, but looks like it is forming a double top. Had that nice movement right over here and then just went right here, double top. No. No, it broke above the VWAP. No, it fell back below the V. Wait. It's still trying to stay above that VWAP right now. It's trying to stay above the VWAP and that point of support now. Let's see. It has to break above that 7-cent mark for it to be so much maxi to mya. Otherwise, it's just man, you know how it goes. All right, 10 minutes till the bell, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes till the bell. Looks like PAVS is trying to hold on right now and stay above that VWAP. So, we'll see what happens. We shall see. We shall see. All right. All right. PAVS currently just chilling right now. Just chilling. All right. So, as of now, currently PAVS is just doing its thing right here. Let's take a look at TWG. TWG. Currently, TWG is still below the VWAP. Still needs to break through the VWAP right there. TWG still needs to break above the pennant and the VWAP for it to be so much maxi to mya. There we go. All right, let's see what else we got. BDRX. Oh, IBIO is doing something. Hold on. IBIO. Up, curling above the oh my, curling above that pennant, ladies and gentlemen. Up 74%. IBIO curling back up. IBIO. Just curling its way back up, curling on upwards, ladies and gentlemen. Curling on upwards. There we go. Curling upwards there, ladies and gents. There we are. All right. Climbed its way on up. Yeesh. Currently, IBIO climbing its way on up. Still on the uptrend right now. 86% right now. Up 86%. 86% right there. So we got that going on. 89% now. 91% now. Can this continue? Can this be a new bagger, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see. 92% now. 93. There we go. 96. There we go. 97. 97. 97. Come on now. Come on. Don't tease me. Come on now. Come on. Break it. Break through. Come on now. Break through. I'm gonna draw some little lines over here. I'm gonna draw my graffiti pencil. Let me get the graffiti pencil activated. 97%. Just hit 97%, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Give me that extra hundy. Give me that. It's going back down a little bit. Wait. Form a bottom tail. Bottom tail red, though. It is a bottom tail red, so can it break above it? IBIO hit a nice high at 97%. 97%. Come on. Let's see here. IBIO currently trying to break through that 86% mark right there. 86% right now. Currently, it is in need of some volume. Now back up to 93%. There we go. Come on, 95%. Testing the high a day. Come on. Went back down. It teased me, man. It's playing with my feelings. You know what I mean? It's playing with my feelings right now, man. That's rough. That's rough, man. That's rough. Ah, went back down. IBIO had a nice high too. Man, IBIO shot up to 97% right there. There we go. Yeesh. So there we go right there. There we go right there. All right. All right. All right. So as of now, it's basically just doing its thing. It's just doing its thing right there. So yeah, we are just doing our thing right now. IBIO falling back down, not looking schmexy anymore. Oh well. Meh, Let's take a look at some other stonks right here. Let's take a look at some other stonks. KYMR. Disappointed. I'm disappointed. I am very disappointed. That is what I am. Yes. The disappointment is immeasurable. No, that's fine. It is what it is. That's the stock market. Anyways, Chimera Therapeutics Inc. All right, KYMR. Again, this is the stock that's shares are trading higher after the company reported its broadened phase 1 Bravo ritual of KT621 and achieved deep stat 6 degradation across dose groups. So as of now, going back down, not looking schmexy right now. It's testing the VWAP in the bad way. It has to stay above the VWAP. It has to stay above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Otherwise, you know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. KYMR needs to curl. So, needs to break this little bit of descending wedge right over. Yeah. Needs to break that descending wedge for it to be so much schmexy to me. Also needs more volume. KYMR needs volume and also needs to break that descending wedge. So KYMR needs to break the descending wedge and stay above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Come on. There we go. All right. All right. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Well, right now we're just chilling. We are just chilling right now. So, yeah, let's see what we got going on. Let's see what else we got going on here. FULC. Let's see. Fulcrum Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company reported initial results from the 20 milligram dose cohort of its phase 1B private pioneer trial of pociredir in sickle cell disease, showing a clear dose response and robust fetal hemoglobin induction at week 6. So that's what they got going on right there. That's what they got going on. But they are currently on a downtrend, man. They're currently on a downtrend right now. So not looking too schmexy right now. Needs to break above that downtrend, man. Fell below the VWAP. Needs to break above the VWAP for it to be so much schmexy to me. FULC needs to break that downtrend in VWAP. FULC needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA, baby. Needs to break that downtrend in the VWAPA. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean. All right, all right, all right. So, yeah, got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Mm-hmm. All right. All right, all right, all right. Mm-hmm. So, currently we are just chilling right now. FULC needs to break that downtrend in VWAP. Otherwise, man, Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 3,000, ladies and gentlemen, 3,000. Come on now. And it looks like it's 8:30. It's 9:30 now. The bell make the ringy dingy. It go wee woo. Let's go. Let's get the bell. Let's get it. It's the bell. The bell. Yes. Yes. Good. Very good. Yes. Yes. Good. Quite good. Yes. It's like sound like a little mad scientist there. Yeah, yes, good, good, yes. Ah, peri the platypus. I am Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, and I am going to take over the tri-state area. Yes. All right, CETX climbing its way on up. Hold on, what's going on with CETX now? All right, there we go. Come on, finally, come back to life, me boy. Sponge boy me Bob, come on, back to life. It's trying to be alive. It's below the VWAP. Hey, it's still below the VWAP, so as far as I'm concerned, it ain't live yet. Alright, come on now. CETX curling a little bit, needs to break that VWAP. CETX curling needs to break the VWAP for it to be so much maxi to yeah. Yeah, yes, yes, good, good, quite, yes, yes, Perry the Platypus. Would you like to see how I got this Stonkinator? The Stonkinator! It is good for taking over the tri-state area and making the stonks go higher in the tri-state area, yes! You don't know who that is? That's Dr. Doofenshmirtz, man! Yes, I know that. He's the greatest of all time. I don't know. Don't be hating, man. Don't ever hate on Dr. Doofenshmirtz. For shame. For shame, Debo Moms. For shame. Yes, sir. Mm-mm-mm. 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 I'm just saying. I am the disappointment right now because you are hating on Dr. Doofenshmirtz. So what? So what? So what? I was trying to hear nothing out of you. All right, you. You behave yourself, you. All right. So. All right. So right now we are just chilling and waiting and chilling and waiting and chilling, waiting. Right now, currently, the stock market is doing its thingy. Right now, it did the ringy dingy, it did the wee woo, baby. Come on now, it has to do something right now for it to be so much mexy to me. But right now, currently, TGL. What's TGL doing right now? TGL. It's expensive. It's expensive. It's unacceptable. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. It's just moving its way on up right now a little bit. Starting to try to curl a little bit, but Treasure Global shares are trading higher after the company announced it raised its fiscal year 26 revenue target. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Treasure Global Inc. up 114% right now. TGL had a high of 133. Needs to break above that V. TGL? Oh, no. It's probably because of the bell, right? The bell make the ringy dingy, man. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. What you got going on over there? No, we're good. Uh-huh. All right. Well, currently, just chilling right now. Chilling. Yeah, waiting for things, man. I'm waiting for things, man. TGL currently just not moving right now. So what's going on with PAVS? PAVS. Let's see how PAVS is doing. I think TGL and CETX got a bit halted there. I think they might have. I don't know. CETX and TGL. Let me see. Let me see if TGL's halted. Is CETX halted? CETX doesn't look like it's moving. On. Wait like a second to see if it moves. Nope. Nope. CETX ain't moving. TGL? Is that one moving at all? No, still in the same place. I think they're both halted. I think they're both halted, ladies and gentlemen. Halted, halted, halted. 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 Stop! That's what it says. Stop! No, wow, wow. Just gonna. All right, let's see how PAVS is doing then. PAVS. All right, PAVS did try to test that VWAP a couple times, ladies and gentlemen. Did try to test that VWAP a couple times. PAVS trying to test that VWAP a couple times. PAVS has been testing the VWAP a few times. Can it break through? Ladies and gentlemen, can it break through? Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 3,200. Let's get to 3,200. 3,200. 3,200. Let's go. Let's go. 3,200. 3,200. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. PAVS looking like trash. Let's go. Let's go. Not looking at that. Let's go. Let's go. FULC. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Fulcrum Therapeutics. I already read this, but I'll read it again. Fulcrum Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company reported initial results from the 20 milligram dose cohort of its phase 1 Bravo Pioneer trial of pociredir in sickle cell disease, showing a clear dose response and robust fetal hemoglobin induction at week 6. So right now it is currently climbing above the VWAPA right now. It's got that going on right there. So it is climbing above the VWAPA. FULC broke the VWAPA. Broke the VWAPA right there. Yeesh. FULC broke the VWAPA right now on the uptrend. There we go. It is on the uptrend as of now, the uptrend. We shall see what it do, what it do, what it do. But for now, it is not doing what I wanted to. So therefore, it is not schmexy to me as of now. But we will see what happens later. Yes, quiet, yes. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to 3,300. 3,300. Let's get a share party going on, man. Let's get that share party going on right there. All right. So, as of now, we're just chilling here. Doing our thing. All right. All right. So, yeah, that's what we got going on here. Ooh. All right. All right. So right now we're just chilling. CCCF asks for PLRZ. All right, let's take a look at PLRZ. PLRZ currently is very, very choppy right now. Very choppy, showing a lot of choppiness right here. So not looking too schmexy as of now. Very choppy. A lot of indecisive wicks over here. A lot of just moving. And now it's on a bit of a downtrend. Down 18%. Not looking too schmexy there. PLRZ needs to break above that VWAP and needs some volume. PLRZ needs to break above the VWAPA, needs volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, all right, all right. There we go. All right, let's see about IBIO. IBIO just started randomly moving a little bit, so let's see how it's doing. IBIO, what you doing? What you doing? IBIO randomly started doing something. Let me see here. Let me see. Come on, IBIO. Show me something. Olash? Olash!
No, it's just there. It's just kind of same place.
IBIO is in the same place.
It's just sort of right there.
Yeah, it's just chilling at 76%.
Yeah, right here.
GPCR. GPCR has news that structured therapeutic shares are trading higher after the company announced top-line data from Access clinical program of the aleniglipron for the treatment of people living with obesity and or overweight with at least one weight-related comorbidity. So that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. GPCR up. GPCR up. Oh, there we go. Up 82%. GPCR expensive. Has news that, right there. Structure therapeutic. Is that the same thing? Yes, it is. All right. So, yeah, still expensive. Structure therapeutics are still trading higher than the company announced top line data. Again, up 82% and climbing. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. So, ladies and gents, that's pretty much it for me. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell. Oh, yes, no. I did. My voice went, blah. No, there you go. All right, give me 1 second. Ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded, and remember to share. Because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we called quite a few baggers today. We call a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. We called CETX prior to its run up 558%, TGL prior to its run up 133%, BDRX prior to its run up 183%. TWG prior to its run up 142%, PAVS prior to its run up 129%, and MTVA prior to its run up 94%, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you guys are having a great day, man. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Make a lot of money. Be greenable. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you are indelible. So leave your mark. Leave your mark, ladies and gentlemen. Leave it. Leave your mark, because guess what? You are one of a kind. You are irreplaceable. You are our indelibles. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. And ladies and gentlemen, remember that this beautiful real-time alerts and scanners comes with, of course, these amazing tools. You get these scanners over here with hyperlinks that give access to the ticker, change the ticker, the time in which it was scanned, whether it's moving up or down, the price, volume, float chart, and news, all of that by clicking these little tiny hyperlinks over here. It gives you a chart with the change in percentage points, whether it's going up or down, time, ticker, price, volume, and float. And then, of course, over here, you got the newsroom over here, which has hyperlinks to the articles which have news, as well as hyperlinks to the stocks that are affected by said articles in terms of news. So you got that going on right there. And to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, you have an amazing community to top it off. An amazing community with wonderful people, very educational community. It's a wonderful place to be. It's beautiful. It's awesome. A lot of people basically building each other up, learning together, growing together. It's awesome. So be sure to check it out, Indelibles. Be sure to check it out, ladies and gents. So, yeah. Also, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on our X.com, aka Twitter, where we're doing lots of live streams and stonk reviews and other things like that. At Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on our Twitch, where we do lots of live streaming at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. And of course, you can find us on our TikTok, Tiki Taki, aka the Tac Tac. You can find us there with shorts and stuff like that at Coaching Money. Actually, no, at DBL Nicks. At
DBL Nicks.
At DBL NICKS. And the screen name is Coach Nick Money.
Yeah.
So that's what we got going on, folks. That's what we got going on. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day.